everybody. Ann Harder here, and you are a part of the very first episode of the Ann Harder Show. And I am so very happy to have two of my partners in crime, one partner in crime from the past, Bruce Gietzen,
And I'm still out.
and Mike Hamilton, my new partner
Yes,
in
ma'am.
crime here at Rogue Media Network.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being a part of this inaugural podcast. You know, I'm not new to the podcast world, though, am I, Mike?
No, not at all. We what are we going on? 4 years? 5 years?
Five.
5
wow.
years, yeah.
Congratulations.
5 years, yeah. It's longer than some
Both
of my
of you.
marriages, so it's great. Yeah.
And Bruce, what
It's
is
your
this?
first show,
Aw.
and so I wanted to bring these, and it says honored to be your first guest, also your co-anchor for 13 years, and
Uh-huh.
most
Oh, nice.
importantly, your friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce, thank you. Thank you. So you know how I love flowers. Yeah, I brought some flowers from
do.
the garden here to decorate the set, but these are beautiful, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate
And
you.
of course, this is something that goes back a ways in the newsroom.
Yep.
Because Mike, this guy, everybody loves him, and from the minute I saw a video of him when they were considering him at Channel 25 to be my co-anchor, and I kind of had to, check off, yeah, he'd be okay. Saw a video of him, and I thought, oh, he just looks like he could give you a big old bear hug. So then pick up the
Pressure was on.
story. So we went to have lunch.
Well, we did. I did. I just came down for an interview.
Yep.
And I was and just to talk to Dennis Kinney and Jerry Pursley, and all of a sudden I didn't even have a tie on, and all of a sudden they said, "Well, we're going to put you on camera." I said, "I haven't read from a prompter in 10 years," and they said, "That's okay, you'll be all right."
It's like riding a bike.
Yeah, so we went out there and we did the on-camera test, and then we went through the talks for 2 or 3 days, and he says, "Well, you've got to come back down and have lunch with Ann Harder," and he says, "We can't go any further until we get her approval." And I'm like, okay, I know who the boss is. And it worked out great. We went to lunch.
I didn't know any of this. I didn't know any of this ahead of time. I just say, okay, we're thinking about this guy. Go to lunch with. Okay, so we go to Ridgewood,
We went to Ridgewood.
and we're getting ready to eat. And you said, "Can I
bless the food?"
bless the food?" And I went, yes. And I'm thinking this guy could be an axe murderer, but I love him.
Sure.
And really, that was the start of a.
They did a background check, so we were
They
okay.
checked you out, but yeah. So we've had a wonderful relationship, and I have to say there are some anchor teams that maybe don't get
Yeah,
along so
yeah.
well. So it was a blessing.
And you've heard the saying about work spouse.
Sure.
And both of our spouses have been very, what would be the right word on that? They've been very, very accepting with the fact that we spend a whole lot of time together when we were at work.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but we got to the point where that we could even finish each other's sentences. But Ann said, "No way, you're not supposed to do that."
No,
So
we did
wouldn't
not
it. But
do that. Sometimes a young producer would write. I would start off something and then Bruce would finish it. I'm like, I don't
"No, we're
think
not
we're
gonna
supposed to do that.
And so, and we had little sayings with each other, and we would be on the same side when we were having a discussion or a debate with young people in the newsroom about, no, we need to do the story this way. And
Sometimes
so-
it was us against them.
and
For
and,
sure.
and that was okay. And then one of the things that I loved about our relationship was as broadcast journalism migrated toward more online and Facebook posts
Right,
and all
sure.
that. I was more. They'd come in like 15 minutes before our newscast and say, "We've got to do a Facebook Live in 4 minutes." I'm like, "We're 10 minutes before a show."
Yeah.
And she'd say, "I'll do it," because she loved doing
loves them,
Facebook. So I said,
yeah.
"Okay, I'll concentrate on the show." And so we were a good team in that way because we had different priorities sometimes on how to do it, and we'd get it on. But boy, we had a lot of good memories and a lot of fun times. We had a lot of conversations and commercial breaks that we wouldn't want to be public.
Yeah,
You know,
understood.
jokes.
Understood.
It's like,
yeah.
this mic is not hot, right?
So, and some stories, you have stories coming up the news. You go, "Did that really happen?
Yeah.
Can you believe
Yeah.
somebody did that?"
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
and our job was just to present the facts. I used to tell the young people in the newsroom, don't ever underestimate what a privilege it is for people to invite you into their home.
Absolutely.
I already had the bonus of having the market knew her,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know how
yeah.
popular
Oh,
she
absolutely,
is, what
absolutely,
a community
yeah.
asset she is, and so we had that advantage. But I think they used to say it takes 3 years for the general public to learn you, know you, accept
Wow,
you.
really? 3 years, huh?
3 years, and believe that you're genuine and trustworthy. And we had a bonus having Ann sitting to my left, and as she is now. So,
Yeah, it feels natural.
but it does, that was a real privilege and an honor. Our job is to tell the facts and to not be biased,
Sure.
and inform
Yeah.
people.
We're kind of old
And,
school in that
we
way.
are old school,
We
and,
could get deep in the weeds on how that's sort of changed.
you know, it was
Sort of.
interesting
Yeah.
seeing
Sort of.
seeing
Sort
Lester,
of.
Sort of changed.
seeing Lester Holt do his last show last Friday, and he was
Oh.
of that.
Right.
You know, he said, my job is to be factual and unbiased and do journalism.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
that. Not everybody is that way in the broadcast business, and so
Yeah.
we tried to stay true to that. And sometimes we get packages from the network, and we go, well, that's kind of one-sided, and we'd edit them before we put them on the air.
Yeah, we
you
could,
know.
yeah, we were kind of the last line of defense
Yes.
of what went on the air.
Yes.
I used to say, if we don't understand what we're reading, it's going to be hard to communicate that to the people out there in TV land.
Yeah.
13 great years we
Yes.
had, and we'll go back to some of those big stories we had. But then fast forward to 2020, it was time for me to hang it up at Channel 25. The day my announcement came out that I was retiring, I get an email.
I've never let a possible opportunity pass
Good
me by.
timing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Mike Hamilton, Mrs. Harder, you don't know me, but have
She
you
got
ever
those
thought
all the
about
time, Mike.
have
You
you
also-
ever thought about doing a podcast?
You also don't
And I'm
know how
like,
many people out there have gotten an email that says, "You don't know me, but," you know. Yeah. No, it was a thrill and an honor when you answered me, and I just thought, oh my God, you know, this is a big deal.
Well, it was kind of funny because this was 5 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I think I told you I'm old. I listen to the radio.
I got you. Yeah.
I listen-
Yeah.
I'm an old
Yeah.
old radio gal,
Yeah.
and
You're not the oldest person in the room.
that's true.
Yeah, we'll tell that story a little
Yeah,
bit
that's
later
true.
too.
But you know,
gotta
but I
pick on
thought
me,
I'll
Bruce?
be retired. Podcasting, it is the new media, and that's what's kind of fun about this very first show
Sure.
in this new iteration, the Ann Harder Show, to have the old media
Wait,
and
but
the
what's
new
the name?
media.
What's the name of the show?
It's the Ann Harder.
You really went out on
Yeah,
a
we
limb on that,
we
didn't
hired
you?
a firm, millions of dollars spent.
You didn't
yeah.
pay.
Did market research, you
Yeah,
know, did
yeah.
the whole.
Well, you know, I did the Zach Owen show for a while too, and he would make that joke almost every time, you know, because you just call it the Zach Owen show. You call it the Ann Harder show. I mean, people know who you are, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, by way of tease, Zach is coming on tomorrow. So.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah,
Yeah.
Good segue.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Very good segue.
I try.
But it has been a lot of fun because for 5 years now, I mean, my very first podcast with Rogue Media dropped on April 1st
Oh, wow.
of 2020. And you know what? We were in April
Yeah.
of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of started off with COVID and how are we going to navigate all this?
You and I fought it for a while. We would record in that little room. We bought a sneeze guard. We you know, a shield to go between interview and interviewee. We had tons of masks. We had all kinds of hand sanitizer. Some people backed out because they got it.
Yeah.
Luckily, I think you probably felt under the weather a few times.
Well, the one time I was actually diagnosed with
Yeah.
COVID,
Yeah.
I was interviewing Inez Russell, who is
Yeah.
the poster child for this podcast because she's someone who saw a need, said, yes, I'll do something, and it becomes this huge thing, which is Friends
Yeah.
for Life.
Yeah.
But Inez and Dr. David Myers were on that podcast, and I gave her the COVID because when I found out that I had it, then I contacted people and
Yeah.
she got it, but Dr. Myers never got it. So
I'll tell you the secret to my never getting it is I never got tested.
Well,
so
and then
I
that's
just,
the other.
you know,
So that was
if you
the
don't
only.
get tested, you don't know if you have it or
That
not.
was the
so-
only time I ever tested. For
Yeah,
it.
that's exactly right. Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. Yeah, yeah. It was a scary
Absolutely.
time, but we.
Yeah, it was.
But honestly, during that time, our business grew, and you know, not gallows humor here or anything, but without that, I don't know that we'd be in the place that we are currently because everybody was home and they were all listening, they were all watching. That's all they had to do. So yeah, it grew, and boy, it was an honor to have you you have braved all 4 locations with us as well. So
You know, and from up here on the 21st floor of the Alico building, you can see all previous locations.
you can, yeah, good, bad, or indifferent. You can see all of them, yeah.
Kudos to you for your persistence, though, and sticking with it.
Well, thank you.
And creativity and thinking, and you've grown in leaps and bounds, and so you've got great talent working with a lot of your shows.
No, it's definitely been because of the talent. It's not been because of me. But I've told Corey Dickman, who owns the network, this is the place I will die. I'm not putting stuff on my back and moving it across town anymore.
I was going to say those moves had to have been, and I was not a part of any of it. I should have volunteered to help, but
No, good Lord,
didn't.
no.
because I wouldn't know the first thing to do to help other than be in the way.
Yeah.
But when you know the wires and the
a
stuff
lot.
and it's
It's a lot.
computer equipment
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you guys really hats off to you for how hard y'all
Well,
work.
thank you. Yeah, it was moving, multiple studios every time because we had grown just a little bit each time, But I'm happy we did it. I love where we're at now, and there's even more growth coming.
Did you envision
No,
this kind of growth
no,
when you started?
good Lord,
See,
no.
so that you're the poster child now of this show.
Well,
You see a
maybe for
need
this
and-
one,
Right,
not for
yeah.
your original one, but yeah, we thought if we could get some, we had very good luck with talent with both you, Pete Sousa, now Zach Owen. Those have helped tremendously, and I think not only have they helped us, they've helped the people of Waco, just simply because those people that they relied on, those people that they looked at and listened to all the time were gone. And some of them just thought, man, it's just not fair. What's going on? And they wanted those trusted voices back.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Bruce, but just the other day, in fact, it was an HEB, and one of the ladies at work, she goes, "Are you still doing the news?" And I went, No, I haven't in a while. But, and people say, "I miss you on the news."
Well,
I
you
bet
still
hear
get the
that.
Locals Love Us Awards, right?
Pardon?
You still get the Locals Love
Yes.
Us Awards, right? For being on the news.
I did for
Yeah.
I think maybe they finally took my name
Yeah.
off the list because I haven't done news in so many years. But
I still get
Yeah.
people who come up and say, "I used to watch you every morning do the news." I go, "No,
Never.
never in the morning." I said, "Oh, it's the weather." I said,
no, yes, you
so-
did. You did the weather.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
But that goes back to being invited into people's homes and
Yeah.
and being trustworthy and
I feel
being
like
a part
they
of
know
the community.
you.
Yeah,
You know that you are a part of their lives, and now I hear you are the voice of my childhood. Or I grew up watching you until I went, okay, good.
that should be the goal of every news anchor.
I know.
in every medium.
Well, and
to earn
in
that
this,
trust.
and we're
Absolutely.
blessed with this size market to have that opportunity to do that, to have the longevity that I would like to see happen with the Ann Harder show. I don't know.
Absolutely, I would as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Okay, all three of us.
Okay, all right.
Go.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a little quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about maybe some of the big stories that we covered, and what lies ahead for the Ann
Okay.
Harder show.
Got it.
There's still things about this show I don't really understand yet.
I completely understand that. Yeah, and we're going to get all that straightened out. Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
Mom and Dad can be a little competitive. They get all, yeah, buddy, and heck yeah. Lucky for them, Main Event has over 85 games and activities to play together, so they can get rematch after rematch after rematch. So do something awesome together.
Smoke Pub was created by a group of friends who share a passion for great whiskey and cocktails. Frustrated by the lack of easy-to-use cocktail smokers, we set out to design something better. Our goal was simple: make smoking cocktails quick, clean, and fun. After countless experiments, we developed Smoke Pub, the world's first electric cocktail smoker. Join us on this exciting journey and discover the magic of Smoke Pub, where unforgettable begin.
Be the best parent to the best S-Pup. For Kitty, we decode more than 100,000 data points, so you know what makes them walk, talk, and act like only they can. And provide the best care. and make smart health decisions. Now and forever. Plan better, care smarter, love longer. Wisdom Panel, the world's leading pet DNA service.
If I've learned anything in the last year, it's that to show up as my best, I need to make intentional choices. And that goes back to the absolute basics. Number one, it's I have to move. And number two, to stay hydrated.
I have been using molecular hydrogen from Water and Wellness to support my health and well-being. It helps with energy, recovery, liver health, and more. The hydrogen has been a game-changing addition to my own wellness routine. The tablets dissolve into my water and deliver powerful minerals to help my body feel its best all day long.
Explore unforgettable experiences with Force Travel. Experience the pinnacle of luxury travel with our exclusive global selection. From secluded villas to elegant train voyages, each moment is tailored for sophisticated exploration. As one of the most renowned and awarded travel agencies in the world, we are pleased to elevate your next journey to an entirely new level. Your extraordinary journey begins now. Force Travel.
And we're back with the very first Ann Harder Show. Thank you for being a part of this inaugural episode. We got Mike Hamilton here, who is producer extraordinaire. But your real title, let me see. Get your real title. Your CCO.
Chief Creative Officer. Yeah. So that just means I get to make new stuff every once in a while.
Which is what this is.
It is. I am a very... I get stagnant really quickly on new things. Once I've achieved them, then I move on to something else. Right now, my gig is to create new shows, create new entities, make sure they work, get all the bugs ironed out, and then move on to something else.
Right. But you also are a podcaster yourself. Let's talk a little bit about, you had a pretty exciting weekend.
I had an exciting weekend.
In Austin.
We went to the ATX TV Festival, which is in its 14th year, who knew? Basically it's kind of like a South by Southwest, but just for television. So comedy, drama, all the big shows. Now the lines are a little more blurred than they used to be, because of Netflix and things like that. But one of the big reasons we went was because we do a podcast called BWAA, B-W-A-A-A, a King of the Hill podcast. And every episode, we take one of their episodes, I print out the entire script, I go through voice by voice by voice, and we take a 22-minute episode and turn it into about an hour and a half. So we have the best fans in the world, and we went to cover the fact that they're making 2 new seasons and releasing them on Hulu.
Rebooting it, yeah.
Yeah, August 4th is when they start. There was a gentleman who was on that show named Jonathan Joss. He played John Redcorn. He was not invited to the dais to be part of the unveiling, which, there were only like 3 cast members and then producers and creators and stuff there. But he came anyway, sat 2 rows in front of us and kind of made a little bit of a spectacle because he felt like he should have been a bigger part of the show. Well, we had made a deal with him to interview him the next day at a place on the other side of Austin, which we spent about 45 minutes with the man. And it's obvious that he had some demons in his past and current. But I thought it was a great interview. Yeah. We ended with a hug and a handshake, and we had talked about working on some other things going forward. I get in bed last night, and my co-host Rusty sent me something and said that on Reddit there was a story going around that he might have been shot to death.
Wow.
And so got up this morning, started kind of following it back and forth. Can't really believe anything you see on Reddit until it's verified somewhere. But as of about an hour ago, it was verified by the San Antonio newspapers and TMZ and a couple other spots that he indeed did die in a shootout last night. I don't know any of the particulars. I don't know why it happened. I just know that this is a man that I literally in the interview said that I wish you would be easier on yourself, because he talked about himself in such a demeaning way that I thought, man, just let up on that a little bit and you'll feel better about what's going on. When you look at his filmography, it's very, very long.
Right, right.
We talked about things like being cast as a Native American every single time and not just being cast as a person.
But he's not Native American.
He
Or was
is.
he?
He
He
is.
was,
Yeah,
okay.
very much so. Now, the
Okay.
name, I don't know. I'm not
Well,
certain
I
of
was
the
going by the
origin.
name,
Yeah. Yeah, that was my...
Because I was listening to your podcast,
Yeah.
but I did not see the video, so I didn't
Right.
see him.
Right. Yeah,
But-
we had a great interview. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it went better than I thought it would. I had no... only thing I had going in was the information I'd heard before,
Yeah.
you know, and you can't trust that until you live through it. Anyway, I'm saddened in the fact that he's gone. He said, and this is very poignant for now, he said that the original actor, which I did not realize until we did this interview, had passed away, and that's why he got the job. And so, I don't know. The world is such an ironic, weird place that
Yeah.
things happen.
But obviously, you have the last probably. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you left, I said, "Oh, come back and
Yeah,
bring me
you said come back with a
stories."
story. I did, yeah.
Was not expecting to hear
Yeah,
this.
that was not the same. That was not the story
That
I
is
wanted.
for sure.
Yeah.
But it is kind of, it's exciting to see that the King of the Hill is and what
Yeah.
a popular show. So on your podcast, you kind of redo.
Yeah, so
You kind of pick it apart.
we are currently, we go, like I say, episode by episode.
There's more than 280.
There's more than 250 episodes. Yeah,
of the original
Right.
run.
We are in season 7, about episode 19.
Oh,
something
my
like
goodness,
that.
yeah.
So we're only about halfway through, and we've been doing it for 4 years. So we'll keep doing that, but we release twice a week, once on Monday and once on Friday. And what we're thinking about doing is taking the shorter Friday one and start covering the new ones until we catch up.
Right. Well, that's neat. But that's the beauty of this new media and podcasts and the range of ideas.
Yeah.
I know one thing you talked to me several years ago now was about doing a limited series on the biker shootout, and I said you need to get in touch with Bruce Gietzen.
Yeah.
Because Bruce, that was a pretty big story, one of many we covered.
That was a very big story, and it was, and in the TV business, we say you did the story have legs. That story had legs for
Oh, yeah.
a long time,
Long
you know,
time.
and it just lasted on. If you're on the wrong side of that, your goal is to not have legs and get it in and out of the news in 2 or 3 days or a week
Sure.
or something like that. That wasn't the case with that, and I think some people would have done some things differently, you know, had they had the opportunity to do it. A lot of people would have, but every time you see that video from inside that restaurant, you know, you're kind of, oh my goodness, the
How did
terror they were
more
going
people
through.
not die? I mean, it was really.
And talking to some of the waitresses who were just doing their job, and somebody right next to them as they're serving a drink gets shot, you know, and the horror, the PTSD following up on that. And
Yeah.
so there are a lot of side stories on that, and a lot of people couldn't and wouldn't talk about it early on for a long time. But that was one of the big stories, a tragic story, and there were 5 or 6 that stood out in our 13 years of working together.
Yeah, I'm
you
trying
know.
to think what was the first like major thing that we did, the Nidal Hassan in 09?
Yeah,
maybe.
I think, and there was a tornado that jumped down Franklin and came, and we covered
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah.
a lot.
Oh gosh, yeah.
and covered
It hit
that.
the Coca-Cola
Yeah,
building.
it hit the Coca-Cola.
That was late at
plant.
night. We had a generator on and a table lamp behind us in the
Yeah.
newsroom. We were trying to stay on the air. That was I forgot about
We
that.
had that, and then of course we had the Nidal Hassan shootings, which
Yeah.
was 2 o'clock in the afternoon and through the evening, and then we had the West Fertilizer Plant explosion, which
That
happened
was-
at night and went overnight through the night.
Right. We pulled an overnighter.
all-nighter on that.
Yeah. I think we sat down on the set maybe 9 o'clock ish, if that.
Yeah, I think a little earlier. I think it was about 8:15 or
Maybe-
8:20. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and I don't think we stood up until like 1 a.m. to leave.
It's like the old astronaut story. See, people.
I don't
people
know how
ask,
we did it,
what
really.
do you do if you have to go to
Yeah.
the
No,
bathroom?
Yeah.
I mean,
You stay with no
we just
commercial
weren't
breaks.
even
It's-
thinking about that because there
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
there was just so much going on
That was
in
the
those kind of wall-to-wall reporting situations. Thankfully, there aren't a lot of those.
the only time in 33 years in broadcasting that I called somebody at 3:15 in the morning to do a live interview. That was Marty Crawford, the
Right.
superintendent of schools, and I just saw him on CNN. And I said, well, he's up
He's
and he's
up.
awake. I'm going to call him
I
and
got
see if
his
he'll
phone
talk.
number,
and,
yeah.
and the principals in that situation in the town of West and the mayor Tommy Muska and the schools, and they exactly did the right thing in how they handled that crisis. I mean, and one of the things that they did, I mean, the place was covered with Dallas and Houston and New York media the next day or whatever, but they recognized that we were the local media. We were going to be there long afterwards, and they went above and beyond a couple of times, you know, to say, no, we're going to talk to the local guys first. And so that was, and they, Pat Swanton from Waco PD helped with their crisis management team, and they did a great job in how they handled all that, and just a big story and horrible tragedy and stuff. But it was those are the ones that you remember, and when you get off the air, your adrenaline's going because you're trying to keep people informed. You're on about a 40-minute cycle, because you can't count on people just watching you nonstop. So you kind of refresh the story every 35, 40 minutes.
People wonder why things get repetitive. It's for that
reason.
And
it's because of that. But then as soon as you get off the air, then the emotions, you have a chance for your emotions to take over. And sometimes some people, you know, break down crying or exhaustion or anything like that. And we had a chance to do that too. And then, you know, I
never really thought of it that way, like where you finally rip the Band-Aid off, the cameras go off, and
it will
you're
hit
a human. I mean, that
it hit at
that
different
comes out.
times. After 9/11, I remember, and I was solo anchor at the time because Ray Peters, who was my co-anchor at Channel 25, he left. He completed his contract, decided to get out of the business. So I was by myself, which is not good. It's never good to be by yourself. And that's why I appreciate you. I mean, that was our little catchphrase, because we really did appreciate one another.
You talked about West and how they did the right thing. I actually taught there in the new school once it was rebuilt. What just a wonderful community. Just accepts everybody, and that school is beautiful. And they took such a hit. But to see them rebound the way they are is just it's fantastic.
And you think about
it was my favorite place to teach, honestly.
Those first responders, went to fight that fire, knowing it may be the last job they ever went on. I mean, I guarantee they absolutely. And first I think the two toughest, most underappreciated and underpaid jobs in the world are first responders and teachers. And you know, and it's just and I'm glad to see people recognizing them more over the last 10 years.
Well, but you know, there is a little bit of PTSD, I think, that broadcasters experience, and so it was at the end of the week, that first week after the planes went into the buildings, and you know, it's one of those, you remember where you were. And I was at home having a little lunch by myself, had a little TV on, and it was one of those channels that shows Alaska. And they were mining for gold. I mean, it had nothing to do with any of this. And I'm looking at this and I'm seeing the beauty of the landscape, and I just started bawling. I mean, it just hits, and it has to come out. And it has to come out.
It happens sometimes too when you do stories with kids.
Oh yeah.
That end in a tough way, and you just want to change things. You know, it's all part of God's plan, but you want to change it and say, well, bless their hearts, you know. And
what could we do different? And of course, what I enjoy about doing this show now in this part of my career is that I have the opportunity for local agencies and nonprofits and people that are doing something, maybe, you know, not wanting the limelight or any of that kind of thing, but performing such an important role in the community and making this Central Texas community better, and to have that opportunity to do this. So this show coming up is going to have a lot of that focus. Really.
It will. We anytime I talk to anybody about this show, I tell them how community driven it is. And when I say community, I want to talk about the outlying areas of Waco as well. You know, places like West, Salado, things like that. I don't think they get enough coverage, and Waco, Temple, Killeen often overshadow them, I would think. And so I've spoken to a lot of the chambers of commerce. We've got here locally, we've got Melinda Adams over at the Convention Center. She's going to start sending in some things.
Yeah, she's been on this show. Not this show, but the previous
Seed
show.
House Creative. They are going to, they represent 4 or 5 different brands. That
Waco
will
Symphony,
be,
you know.
right, and the zoo and different places like that. Michelle at the Wacoan. They're going to
Oh,
start
good,
sending in. So we've got a really good collection. I would love for it to be larger. I've contacted Belmead and Salado and places like that, and they're generally kind of a one-man show or one-person show in those offices, and it's a lot harder for them to do the lift. But I'm really hoping that you're able to get out on the road and cover some of those things.
That's another part of this, Bruce. That's going to
Yeah.
be fun is to go out and do these segments.
It's really where you
live in
shine,
local-
honestly. I mean, it's just it's wonderful to see you amongst those people.
Yeah.
And I know that you love the Facebook Lives and things like that. And it's just there's a different light in your eyes whenever you do those. Yeah.
And isn't it heartwarming and enlightening and invigorating to see all the good happening in
Yeah.
Central
Oh, I
Texas?
know.
Absolutely.
I mean, people focus too many times on the, well, you know, we did breaking news, breaking stories, and tracking storms. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of times we're having to focus on bad news and stuff, but there's
Yeah.
so much good happening and so many people doing wonderful things, and the generosity of Central Texas never ceases.
We
Oh,
just-
especially when there's a crisis
Yeah,
type
yeah.
event. We would see that
Yeah.
always
we
right
need
away.
that now more than ever, and
Yeah.
I think you can bring a light to a lot of those small organizations that really couldn't afford to advertise anywhere. Or
Well, that's right.
yeah,
And so that's the beauty of this. I mean, this every day at noon, but it's always out there
you know the
on
first
YouTube.
question. I'm sorry, the first question they ask, how much is it? And I said it's free. It's free.
And
Just
they go,
send
"What?"
stuff in. Yeah, they're very skeptical over the fact that they can be on your show for free. Yeah.
Yeah. And all this boils down to the fact that, Ann, you are a priceless asset.
Yes.
Well,
to-
you're
to
sweet.
Central
Very
Texas
true.
and
You're
the
sweet.
community. I mean, we both retired recently, and I think Ann's still doing a lot of work. You know, I'm doing
Neither
a
Yeah,
one
little,
I
of
know.
but
I
mean,
tell
she's-
everybody about the yes and no buttons you gave me.
Neither one of you
I
are
should have
retired,
brought 'em.
but okay, sure.
But you can't totally stop, but I mean, it just.
I just
but
don't use that
that's-
no button.
I know that's your mission. You know, Mike and I, your husband, we tease about that, but that's what drives you. Your heart is big as gold, and it's just we all appreciate you. You know, so
We do.
Well, and it's my understanding the main event is a sponsor.
That's what I've
So-
heard. Yeah.
Do you want to throw that in? Keep those
Yeah,
cards and
yeah.
letters
Yeah,
coming
there you
in.
go.
Please, please.
good.
Oh, they'll line up. I'm not worried about sponsorship on this show. This show will just be fun to produce, fun to put together, and hopefully fun for you to host.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
get to do a lot more than you were doing on Central Texas Living or Life, which both of them sound like insurance companies.
I know.
yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, and of course, podcasts have these edgy, cute type. I mean, I couldn't think of.
Some of them are too cute, you know?
Well, yeah, by half, yeah.
Because when you
right.
think about the show we were talking about, Bois, I told people in Austin when we were there, I said, I wanted to make it as hard for you to find as possible. You know, I couldn't just call it the King of the Hill podcast or whatever. You know, I had to
that's
call it
what I
something
Googled
else,
at
yeah.
first, and then
Yeah.
you popped right up with
Yeah.
your name, and it popped right up.
Sure,
I found it.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's fitting. I think it's going to be it's a new adventure, you know, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you staying on this wagon with me. And just I told you a couple of weeks ago, you and Mike were down there and we met about the show, and I said, just trust me one more time, and we'll see if we can't make this thing work.
Well, I have had a ball. I mean, I have done more than what 570
You've done a lot. Yeah.
interviews.
Wow.
In the 5 years that I've been doing.
And you haven't doubled up on
podcasts.
anybody, right?
A few.
A few?
Well, you. I
Right.
mean, I've
Well,
had you on a couple of
yeah,
times,
I
maybe
didn't count.
doing the events. But you know, but thinking back, people will ask, you know, your favorite. Ah, man, it's like, what's my favorite
Yeah.
child? I'm not
Yeah.
going to be
Tough
able
question.
That's hard to do.
to tell you that. But I'm thinking about ones I'm like, I need to revisit. I need to call, you know, and revisit on this show, see what's going on.
I
with
think
these
you could
folks.
have a segment at the end of the podcast and just call it "We Appreciate You"
Yeah.
for somebody. You know, that
Sure.
use your tagline. You
Okay.
know,
Absolutely.
yeah, and just
Well, I-
highlighting one particular person that show or something. So there you go. The
There
wheels
you
are
go.
And
turning.
the wheels
you
are
know,
turning.
so-
You too. I mean,
I'll write you a check afterwards.
yeah. Well, I'm trying to think if there was anything else we need to cover. I mean, we kind of hit some of the highlights. We didn't talk about our favorite blooper though.
We
probably
we
ought
had
to
so
do
much
that.
fun. You can go ahead and.
No, you. And it had to do with the bikers.
There was some. earlier this one day, we had a holiday party at the
It was a hamburger cookout thing the
hamburger,
other day.
and part of it was in the studio because it was hot outside
Sure,
and everything.
sure.
And they had all these balloons, and they released them, and of course they had helium in them, you know. And so then they cleaned out the studio before the 3 newscasts that day, and some of the balloons were still up on the ceiling. And so you know where I'm going. This is a 10 o'clock show. We're getting ready, and our lead story is something to do with an indictment, new indictment or whatever
Sure.
on the biker shootout. But as we're in the billboard for the show, we see the air conditioner vents blowing this balloon descending down, and we're like 10 seconds from going on camera.
Oh,
we
and
see
it's
this,
coming right at me.
and the look on both of our faces were like, no, this can't be happening. And so sure enough, as soon as the billboard finishes and we come on camera, here comes the balloon right in between the
with
two
a
of
white
us.
string.
Yeah, a red
And-
balloon. Yeah.
And of course, me, instead of
She's
thinking,
reading the line. Yeah.
thinking if I had a do-over, I would not have done it this way. But I'm thinking, I will grab it and pull it out of the way. No, if I just let it go, I think the balloon would have been out of the shot, and we would have just had this white string going by. But no, I grab it, then everybody can see it's a red balloon.
Wow.
And my first thought is, okay, whose read is it? It was her read. That's how the
And
script. I said, how's she going to handle this? You know.
And I just kind of look at you, and you're kind of looking at me like, what? Anyway, we probably could drop that video in there because it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll tell
Two
my
ideas.
Tell my producer there
best,
that
yeah.
we'll.
This biker could be violating a gag order. Sorry about this.
But yeah, that was probably the all-time
Yes.
biggest one that we ever had.
Yeah. And we had.
And of course, Matt Hines, it ended up being the kicker for the show, the fun little
Yep,
story at the
showed
end of
it
the
again,
show.
yeah.
And we have a picture of him climbing. I'll send you that too.
Oh, great.
A picture of him climbing up a ladder, pulling down a blue balloon, and then he stabs it
And you know, and she
on the
mentioned-
desk at the end of the show.
She mentioned earlier we were the last line of defense
Yeah.
in reading stories, and we would try to read all our scripts before we got in the studio, but we couldn't always do that. And there were a couple times that we had a young producer who was just a couple months out of college, and she had written a tease for the weather and said Central Texas is going to have a hard time. It's going to take a couple weeks to recover from these tarantula rains. that we
Tarantula
had.
rains.
And we go, well, we caught it before we read it.
Right.
But then after the newscast, I went into the producer and I said, Teresa, I said, what's a tarantula rain? She said, it's those rains where like spider legs. I'm really hard. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she really thinks it's
She really thought it was tarantula.
My parents taught me that. I said, okay, don't want to burst her bubble. You know, I said, let's
Sure.
look it up in the
Yeah,
dictionary. And so we
yeah.
look it up, and she's like, oh, my parents lied to me all those. I said, no, don't do that. I'm just saying, from here on out, we'll just come to. She said, I am so sorry. You know, and just little moments like that. You go, bless her heart, she did not have any bad intentions.
No.
And-
And she ended up with a great job in Pensacola or
Yeah,
somewhere. I mean,
yeah,
she left us
yeah.
and went to, we are kind of a market that's a launching
Yeah,
market
sure,
for a lot of folks, particularly producers and so forth. But
Yeah.
I can't wait to see where I move. It'll be great.
Well, and speaking of which, you're still doing some consulting. You're like a crisis management.
I do some media crisis management consulting. I also do some work for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, and am enjoying that. Some great people, and that's just my first 20 years in broadcasting, I was a sports guy, and had some fantastic, wonderful memories, of all that. And it's just been such a blessing to do that for 33 years, and the people you get to work with, present company included. And so
I'll leave.
Yeah, because they're Rogue Media has a Texas Sports Hall of Fame podcast.
I was going to say, I also want to thank Bruce because Bruce is a memory of mine also when you guys were on, but he also worked with my wife over at Waco ISD for a while. Had nothing but good things to say about you. I won't tell you though, but you have been really great about us working with the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, and I can't thank you enough. I know you called me the other day to clarify a couple of things, and I'm standing there in the hotel, and I'm like, if it were anybody else, I'd tell them just call Corey or whatever. But since I knew you, I knew I could say certain things, and I just appreciate it. I appreciate you always being around.
The feeling's mutual.
Thank you.
I'm proud of what you guys are doing, and you're going to the next step. I really love the creative name of the show.
Yeah.
So
It's good. It's
but
good.
I mean, to see how you've grown, and you've got how many podcasts? 200.
There's 230 plus on the network.
goodness.
Yeah, we're putting out somewhere around 70 episodes a week. When this show goes live, we will be live 6 hours a day, Monday through Friday, which that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Congratulations
We
to
hope
both
to get
of
to
you.
12.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Really
And-
exciting, and things that are lying ahead. I know you've got a big thing coming up. Speaking of the Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, we've got we've got the 20th anniversary of the Rose Bowl win for Texas over USC coming up.
20 years.
20 years.
Gosh.
Almost everybody remembers where they were when they watched that game. You know, Dana and I were on a cruise ship out of Galveston, the big 80-foot wide screen, and the deck is packed, and they're watching this game. And what's cool about that, you don't see the commercials. You can hear live mics and everything. And so, and we find out right before the game starts that the guy sitting next to us on this Chase Lounger on deck is the guy who started California Pizza Kitchen. And he's from LA, and of course he's for USC and something. Well, this is going to be fun watching the game with him. And the entire first quarter, Dana's trying to talk him into opening a California Pizza Kitchen in Waco. I said, honey, let the guy watch the game. But I mean, everybody remembers where they were for that game. Well, we've got Mac Brown, the head coach of the Horns, and Vince Young coming in, and they're going to be at our next Lone Star Luncheon on August 19th. And Ed Clements, who's famous down in Houston as a moderator, is going to, we just found out he's going to come in and moderate the thing. And so we've already sold all our premium tables, and we still have some regular tables left. But that's going to be a fun event.
And you got a golf tournament.
And we got a golf tournament Father's Day weekend. We have the Southwood, and still a couple team slots available for that. It's at Cottonwood Creek. You can play Friday or Saturday, and then we have the Southwest Conference induction August 5th. And then we have our third Legends of Texas Whiskey Festival coming up on November 8th.
Oh, yeah.
And that's turned into a pretty fun event,
And you love
too.
pioneering these
I'm
events.
a creative guy,
You too,
I'm
birds
like
of a
you,
feather.
Creative. You think of great ideas, then you go, oh my gosh, now we got to pull this off.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And it's tough. We have a fantastic staff at the museum. I've got great committees on a lot of these. And you know what? I think the Texas Sports Hall of Fame is, somebody was telling me the other day, it's one of the best kept secrets in the state of Texas. And it's right here. We're doing 430 inductees, and we got plans to make it bigger and better and update technology and all that. Your husband, Mike Harder, is invaluable to us on that on the Board of Trustees. But and that's a labor of love. And so, but
well, just another one of the beautiful gems we have in this community.
Absolutely. And Waco's such a great destination if you like museums.
Yeah, absolutely,
Oh,
sure.
It sure is.
And it's just, and people, when we first came here in 2003, I remember I went to a charity function, and somebody asked me, are you going to be like a lot of these TV people? They're going to stay here a couple of years and move on to a bigger market? And I said, no, we like it here. It reminds me, I grew up in Fort Worth. It reminds me how Fort Worth was. And Dana and I got married in 2005. And like a couple of years after we got married, we're just driving around one day, and she says, I really like it here. I'd be happy if we spent the rest of our life here. Wow. I said, honey, you have no idea how much pressure that took off me. I was so happy to hear that, and we love it here. This is where we're going to be, and there's so many good people here, so many good things happening that you highlight and you talk about, and so it's a great place to be. So we're
And you
Likewise,
too, Mike, thank you so much
Well, thank
for
you.
everything you've done for me. And it's just a blessing to me to be able to come up to this fabulous location on the 21st floor
It's always
of the
an honor
Alico
when you-
building and talk to wonderful people. So, keep those cards and letters coming in. Let me know if there's somebody you want to have sit on this couch and have us visit.
It is not hard to fill your dance card. So, yeah.
proud of you, Ann.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Thank you. And thank
Okay.
you for my flowers.
Oh, you bet.
Love you both.
Okay.
Glad to have you with us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Today's show is brought to you by Main Event Entertainment Center. They've got it all. They've got bowling, virtual reality, laser tag, billiards, shuffleboard, and more. And if you mention my name, Ann Harder, when you're booking, you get double arcade play free. And if you book by July 24th, your guest of honor will play free. For your next main event, it's Main Event, 2420 Creekview Drive in Waco, right next to the Cinemark Theaters.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com.
And now the latest from one of our very special community partners.
The need in Central Texas is greater now than we've ever seen it. With the budget cuts that the government's doing, it's not their fault. I understand we had to do some budget balancing, but we've got, in our particular area, depends on what numbers you look at, there's 34,000, that's the published number, but there's also a number that says 40,000 is our line of poverty. But there's a number above that that's called the ALICE group. Asset limited, income constrained, and employed. That's the middle class. If any of those people have a problem with a car breaking down, a medical emergency or something like that, their dominoes start falling. And we've got a whole lot of children now that are out of school. There's a whole lot of needs out there. We've got a lot of seniors that really depend on us. We've got like 30% of our community is seniors. Old folks like me.
Yeah. Well, it's just it's imperative that we as a community rally together and pool our resources to help places like Shepherd's Heart make a difference for those people who absolutely, no fault of their own, just have had circumstances that have been beyond their control. Make sure that they have the food and the service to have a quality of life that makes Central Texas a better place to live.
Yes.
And JRBT is so proud and so excited to partner with Shepherd's Heart.
And we appreciate your help.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. It's a great organization. It's a great partnership. Helps our people understand and feel and really truly live what that need is. And as we continue to partner with Shepherd's Heart and volunteer here and spend our time, helping the community, does nothing but just enhance how we can make a difference in our community and how you guys every single day are right there on the front line.
And we appreciate that because we don't have any government money running through us. This is all just what God's doing, and that's God's people coming together to do this.
Proud to be a part of it.
Welcome back to the show. Now, let's check out what's happening this summer at the fabulous Mayborn Museum on the Baylor campus.
Hi, I'm from the Mayborn Museum, and we are wagging our tails with excitement about our newest exhibit, Cats and Dogs.
This interactive, family-friendly experience invites you to explore the world through the eyes, ears, and noses of our furry friends. From our dog agility course to discovering how cats use their whiskers to see the air around them, this exhibit is packed with playful, hands-on fun.
But it's not just cute animals, there's science too. You can learn all these fascinating facts about our furry friends. Did you know that cats can survive falls from high places thanks to the way they twist in midair? Did you know that dogs can smell disease? You'll leave this exhibit seeing your pets in a whole new light.
We opened this exhibit with a bark and a purr this past May, and it's going to be open all summer long here at We're going to have the Fuego Police Chief, the Fire Chief, so don't miss every Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. Plus, don't forget to stop in the museum store. We have brand new books, brand new plushies, great toys to celebrate your furry friends this summer.
So grab your pet, human or otherwise, and come see cats and dogs at the Mayborn Museum. While you're here, don't forget that there's so much more to explore. We have 143,000 square feet, and there's always something here for everyone at the Mayborn.
What a great exhibit at the Mayborn, focusing on our best furry friends. Stay with us. We've got a great tune from Booger Boyles later in the show.
Mom and Dad can be a little competitive. They get all, yeah, buddy, and heck yeah. Lucky for them, Main Event has over 85 games and activities to play together, so they can get rematch after rematch after rematch. So do something awesome together.
Deer Valley, where innovative comfort and stylish design meet. Bathroom solutions. Smart toilets. Kitchen solutions. Deer Valley. Stylish living, savvy savings.
When you view the glass half full, the little things become magical. Like kicking back and sharing laughs, spread good vibes, and they'll come back. Celebrate what you love with what you wear, even if what you love is kind of weird. Life is good in super soft tees that spark smiles and connectivity. 10% of profits go to help kids heal. So choose optimism and make the magic real. Visit lifeisgood.com.
The 4-burner, side-burner, side-sear burner with Clearview glass stainless steel grill from Monument Grills. Made of tempered glass, which is strong, insulated, and allows you to check your grilling without lifting the lid. Our porcelain-coated cast iron cooking grids offer a large cooking surface of 513.3 square inches, primary cooking area, with even heat cooking. The Monument Grills include LED control knobs and are easy to light with pilotless electronic ignition. Better grilling, better value, Monument Grills.
Revive Superfood Smoothies. Pill, pour, blend, and enjoy. All within the comfort of my own home.
Revive Superfood Smoothies. Peel, blend, and enjoy. Fast and easy, and I'm out the door.
My name's Booger Boyles.
And I'm Luke Frobish.
This is a song of mine called What You Want Me For. I've been thinking, and I've been wondering just how far you wanna go with this thing that you call love. Oh honey, don't you get mixed up, 'cause what you think ain't even close to what it's all about. It ain't about the diamond rings, it ain't about the fancy things. 'Cause I can't even afford all them things you want. But I promise what I have to offer is worth so much more. So think about what you really want me for. Chasing dreams of glitter and gold, but true love can't be bought or sold if that's all you want me for. And you better get up and go, 'cause I've told you once now, girl, that there's more in this world than all your fancy things. And you Navajo pearls, it ain't about the diamond rings, it ain't about the fancy things. 'Cause I can't even afford all them things you want me for. But I promise what I have to offer is worth so much more. So think about what you really want me for. So think about what you really want me for.
Escape into fitness with the Schwinn IC4 bike, providing a premium, heart-pumping indoor cycling experience that combines digital connectivity with superior Schwinn quality. The IC4's smooth, quiet ride features magnetic resistance with 100 micro-adjustable resistance levels. Escape the everyday with the Schwinn IC4 bike, your ticket to a life well lived.
Let's be honest. The hemp industry can get confusing with acronyms like CBD, CBG, and CBN. What is CBN? I'm glad you asked. While CBN is extracted from the hemp plant, it does not produce any psychoactive effects or high as seen from THC, and is not habit-forming. At Slumber, we designed our entire product line around CBN because of its ability to help you fall asleep and stay asleep naturally. All of our CBN is sourced from Colorado-grown hemp and lab-tested. If you're new to CBN, give one of our sample packs a try. All of our products come with a 30-day guarantee, so you can sleep on it.
Today's show is brought to you by Main Event Entertainment Center. They've got it all. They've got bowling, virtual reality, laser tag, billiards, shuffleboard, and more. And if you mention my name, Ann Harder, when you're booking, you get double arcade play free. And if you book by July 24th, your guest of honor will play free. For your next main event, it's Main Event, 2420 Creekview Drive in Waco, right next to the Cinemark Theaters. Thanks for being with us. We hope you'll join us again tomorrow at noon for the Ann Harder Show. Bye-bye.